Now there's a clue to our next adventure. Hey everyone, it's Cashew. Today's adventure brings us to Huntington, West Virginia, to the Museum of Radio and Technology. If you like history, if you like old radios, if you like old TVs, or you just like looking at stuff and saying, hey, I had that in my house when I was a kid, then you'll love this place. Let's go check it out. Our adventure starts here.
Usually we start in the 20s room. We take you back to a time when little cities and things like that were about 20 minutes horse ride away from one. So you all here to tour? Okay, yeah, so yeah, go ahead and sign in.
I love these old radios.
So he's credited with the as a Victrola. This came after the gramophone. I think the Victor Corporation brought up the gramophone company, but Victor, the dog there, that was actually for gramophone company. Yeah. So when they bought it, they got the icon, and here's a little drawing of Nipper looking into a gramophone, but actually the original painting of that, he was looking into an Edison Bell cylinder player. Oh. Someone played cylinders like that, and he presented this to the Edison Bell company, and they said, dogs don't listen to phonographs. So he went to the Victor company, not the Victor company, he went to the gramophone company, and and all he wanted was a bell. This guy's an artist. All he wanted was a brass bell. He's going to repaint the bell, maybe sell his picture. Mm-hmm. And the fellow that he's talking to, his name is William Owen. He says, what do you want to do? So he told him, says, I'll tell you what, he made a deal with him. 50 pounds for the painting, 50 pounds for the name of the painting, his master's voice. I said, you're kidding? No. I said, but you don't use the Edison Bell machine, you use our gramophone. That machine right there. And so he just redid it. And that's how that got started. You can look it up on the internet. Right. There's some good sources on that. So later on, the Victor Corporation bought that, and they come up with all these little Victrola things here, like this tabletop model. This one's kind of neat because it's weird. It's got wheels on it. It tilts back like a little hand truck. It's got wheels back there in the back. And also, if we could wiggle this out, there's a little fold-up table on the back of it. This is made to use in schools. A lot of schools and churches use these things. And you had a little horn, little sound. This one has a bigger horn. If you notice, instead of a horizontal diaphragm chamber, this is vertical. That's one patent they got around. Mm-hmm. It's a flat disc instead of a cylinder. There's another one. Okay. No lead screw. This is made out of shellac. It's going to hold. It's going to take the needle better without tearing it up, even though it does wear it. You had to change the needle about 10 plays, so it wouldn't wear out the record as much. Now on those were conical diamond styluses on the Edison machine. And that's what helped the groove last. But on these, it's just a piece of steel. Big horn, big sound. These are the volume and tone controls. That's the volume and tone controls right there. So that's it. All right. Like I said, you had to replace these about 7 to 10 plays or so. I think is what they recommended. It's just like a little tack without a head on it. So a little sharp tack. Now I can't show you a conical diamond stylus because you never had to replace them. Okay. Let's back up a little bit here. This is what I call the Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Victrola was gaining ground on the home entertainment, music playback industry, right? because he had a flat disc with 2 songs. It's easy to store. It wasn't wax, and didn't, you know, it cost a little bit less because you didn't need a lead screw mechanism to move everything. So Edison's trying to come back with quality versus quantity. If you look in here, you see as this thing plays, it turns the whole horn around. See that? Mm-hmm. So all that weight has to be shoved by a lead screw mechanism to move that. Well, you can't match that lead screw. You can't match the pitch of the lead screw to the pitch of the grooves on the record. It cannot be done, okay?
Change.
Now, come here and show you. She's tipping her head here, so she's got to see this. Here's how you get around that. Come here and look, right here. See that? Mm-hmm. That's where the diaphragm is inside this. See how it pivots on this thing back here? Mm-hmm. Now the lead screw can shove this whole thing, but this has freedom to move in the groove to follow this follows the groove, and that's how they don't tear up your records, and that's how they did away with not being able to match the speeds of the feed speed. So
I've never seen one like that.
yeah. It's got this one little lever right here that does all. You know, moves your tone arm from side to side, and also
Where his brother, I called upon my girl one night, her dad came home real late. You asked him for his daughter's hand, he handed you the gate on my ukulele. Yeah. On my
that's the line control. That's called a sock. Just ready to get the phrase, put a sock in.
The Prince of Wales' met sister once, ran out and bought her.
Yeah, so as the record plays, it comes over here, trips the auto, trips the little brake there, shuts off automatically. So I thought you liked the sock there. I mean, did you see that? See how it worked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like a bicycle brake or something like that, yeah. Tone arm here, do you recognize that shape? Can you see that? What does that shape look like to you? Something you played with when you was a kid, probably.
Magnet.
Uh-huh. That's a magnetic pickup. Weighs several, yeah. Talk about your tone arm weight. Yeah, well. Much better fidelity. It's got a step volume control. So, there's your little example of the Brunswick there. So you can tell the fidelity is much better, much preferred. Thing is slowly progressed. Right. Over here. And this is something every woman likes. See? Yeah, there's your music right there. So, you see those little funny looking diagonal things there, right here? Those come from coin slots. So you put a penny in the side there, it goes down through a mechanism we took out, okay, and it drops into this cash drawer down here, okay? Now it's got a lock on it. So you would find something like this in an inn or a tavern or something, you know, like a jukebox sort of. But the proprietor would have these discs on hand, and he maybe change them once in a while for different events. So you can see the rollers right there, and it's going to guide this thing. You want it to bend in a little bit so it can touch the little, you see right here, these sticking up. That's what comes in contact with these. Sound like nails on a chalkboard, didn't it? Here we go. Mainspring driven governor to control the speed, otherwise it would There you go. Look at her, she's just German polyphone from Leipzig, Germany. And believe it or not, you can still get some of this stuff today.
One song per disc?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's it, yeah. We have some more discs around here somewhere. I don't know where they are. But anyway, that's the one we like to play all the time. Generative receiver. Okay. He's with me. Okay. This is an early type of a radio. You use one or two tubes. This one has 2 tubes in one. Okay. And this is what's called breadboard radio. So in your amateur radio stuff, you hear about a breadboard. Yeah, that's it.
It's the wooden piece.
Yeah, it's just a board. And this one uses 2 batteries. That one uses maybe 2 or 3. I don't know about the output on that one. You have an A battery that drives your filaments, that warms your tubes up. You got to have heat to work. And a B battery for your plate voltages and things that makes your electronics work, just to make a long story short. When you tune this thing, you tune to your station like this, and then you tune a feedback loop that comes from your audio out right back to the front end to the RF input. Weird, but that's how they did it. And this is volume control. And this sends back some of your audio signal back to the front end of the radio to help improve the quality of the signal. Okay? It's called it regenerating or regenerative receiver, or regen for short. Problem is, they can oscillate. You might not hear it, but your neighbor can.
Yeah, in his radio.
And yeah, in your neighbor's radio. Right, exactly. And this is a kind of a bad thing because the guy who was using these regenerative receivers was a fellow named Armstrong in World War I. And his job in the Army was to find out where the enemy transmitters were. He's trying to triangulate on them with these regenerative receivers. Of course, guess what? The enemy could hear where he was because of that very thing we just talked about. They were like little oscillators out there. So the enemy could hear him as well. So he got to thinking about this. And he said, well, when this regenerates, it produces other frequencies. And that's kind of interesting. I wonder how we could use this. And maybe we could find those receivers without us being found. And to come up with a new idea. That story later. This is before radio. This is something called wireless. This is what Marconi originally invented. He used about, 14, I think, of Tesla's patents to do so. Tesla was furious, but anyway, this is how it started. This was used a lot for ship-to-shore communications. So on the Titanic, when you watch the movie, if you're watching any shows or movies or something about Titanic, it says radio room, wrong. It said wireless, because that's what they were. They considered it wireless telegraph. Okay. So why did they have these whirligig things instead of a fixed spark gap? You know that one? What happens is, as the arc goes here, it heats the air up. When the air heats up, it wants to rise, and so does the spark. So your dashes were limited how much time it could use for a dash. Okay? So you ever see a Jacob's ladder?
Yeah, made one.
Yeah. Well, that's how they work. When the air heats up, the spark goes up. Okay? So yeah, these are limited to how long your dashes could be. So the rotary spark gaps will let you have longer dashes. Want to see? There we go. Now, this thing's going to generate a whole bunch of voltage, really high voltage here, high current too, so no kidding, it's not something to play with, but it's fun to play with, all right? So right here in the keyer, there's the wall voltage, okay? So just touch the round button right there. And that's how it works. So this little thing here is a cat whisker. And the idea is you get to move the cat whisker around on the Galena until you found the best spot. Now, I don't know how you do this really. I guess you'd have to tune this. This is how you tune your radio. Is by sliding these little sliders around here. And you have to move this around. Maybe you get a station finally, and then you're moving this, moving this, moving it, until you get that in the best spot. Then you dare anybody in the world to ever touch this again. So, and then you could listen to to your radio with your headphones. We call this the classroom.
I had that one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So everything in here is of an educational nature or a local history nature. Everything that he's looking at there in the display case were kits. ICO, Night, I forget what's on the top over there. That one, it's IRC or something. I think it's IRC kit. All some neat test equipment in here. And, I never had one of these. Never had one of these like you had. What I had was the neighbor's TVs or whatever they threw out.
Yeah, whatever somebody didn't want.
And I'd go over and rob all the parts off of it and try to solder wires to the leads that's too short and all that stuff. This is a neuromodulation analyzer.
Right.
So they heat get made. You don't see those very often. Where they're so yeah, just whatever somebody feels like doing if there's enough interest. And sometimes it's how to troubleshoot. Right. How to troubleshoot a power supply. What kind of stuff do you need to troubleshoot? Just to have a little test bench at your house or something. So we can show you right here what you need and let you play with it. That's what you find inside your radio sometimes.
Mouse house.
Yeah, when I went to vocational school, we actually had one of these. And
For sure.
Yeah, these things are pretty neat. Instruct like nail polish and paint over stripes of resistors.
Right.
Way up there about it. And then you get to see what the 5-tube receivers, at least you could have something to listen to in your living room. This is a shortwave room. So what does it take to wow people nowadays? Really, wow! What does it take to do that nowadays? You know, when they come up with flat panel computers like the iPad, that wowed people, right? Oh, you touch it, wow! Some ham operators are pretty crafty about what they use for their equipment. In the earlier days of ham radio operating and things like that, the idea, like it was told to me from my instructor at vocational school, Kemper, you need to just save up your money, quit buying that camera equipment, and get you a really good receiver, and then we'll build a transmitter. And that's what they did. On levels and on standards of perfection. And everything they do has to meet those. They're moving a lot of these things, like wheelies. And then you wind up with stuff that looks like that. Can't keep it up. They just, okay, we can't keep it. On top of it, weigh about 75 pounds. Here at our museum. They went around looking for things like that. You ran across this, and he wanted to order a whole lot of them, like over 1,000 of them. So it's the RCA guys about, he's ecstatic. Says, yes sir, what colors would you like? I said, clear, just like that. No, we don't sell them that way, that's just for
the Bureau of Prisons.
Yeah, no, it's just a demonstrator.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just for demonstrator purposes. So we can black, brown, So he explained why he wanted them. He was from the Bureau of Prisons.
I gotcha.
And he says, yes sir, I think we can. But, they reached his people talked to their people and all that kind of stuff, and they came up with all the fasteners were painted bright yellow. So they couldn't be used for shivs.
One of those operating on you.
You don't really want to fit AC.
We're on a GPS, honestly.
It's AM, FM radio, and CB. Some cars you could order from the factory like that.
Could have a power booster.
Yeah.
I think it was Lincoln Continentals or something like that. But some of the better cars you could get those. Stops us. You get back in rhythm instead of staying in AC. This military tube tester right here looks like a Hickok in dots and dashes. Okay. Then you'd use these. Those are keyers back there in the shortwave room. are dedicated to two-way communications and entertainment. This room is dedicated to broadcasting only. There's only one receiver over there. I think there's only one that is used as a monitor to make sure your station's doing what it should be doing. But there's nothing in here in the way of home entertainment receivers. This is all broadcast equipment. This would represent a very elaborate DJ station right here. And it was all taken from KEX. And I've had a fellow in here one time as part of our photography group, and he walked into here and kind of stepped back, and he stepped forward and looked again and stepped back. I said, "Do you like this stuff?" And he kind of looked at me kind of one of these daze things going on there. So, "Well, walk back here and look at it if you want to." He actually operated that very equipment right there. Not something like it. That was the stuff. He worked at that radio station. And then they would talk about the cart machine while I go. So in case you don't know all the leads, Huntington.
This is one of my favorite sections. This is a collection of nippers.
So anyway, that's pretty cool stuff they did. So the stuff block me, that the governor says thou shalt not have a meeting like that. So no swap meetings. That's one way we generate revenue. Right. The swap meetings throughout 3 years. That stuff will eventually get gone somehow. And that's some pretty nice stuff.
Man, that is a great place, and I highly recommend you come here. The staff is very friendly, incredibly knowledgeable, and I only showed you just a small sampling of what they have to offer. They have radio, computer, television, you name it. If it's electronic and it's dealing with technology, they have it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. In the description box down below, I'll have links to my Teespring, my PayPal, my Patreon. So until next time, everyone, this is Cashew, signing off.
So they looked around being a ham shack. Pretty in 20s run. I've got great big Spartan.